Hello, everyone, and welcome to our continuing coverage of America's election. Headquarters, I'm Greg Jarrett.
I'm Jamie Colby. It's great to have you with us. What a night. Our Fox News team of reporters, political analysts, and contributors, they are covering all the angles for you tonight.
Our panel is here for the next 3 hours, ready to analyze all of the races.
Yeah, and Greg, our decision team has been busy all night crunching the votes. With some of the races still up in the air, they are staying with us just a bit longer. And it is the top of the hour. We want to bring you some headlines. The balance.
Jamie?
All right, Greg, you're pretty good on that board for just the beginning of this 3-hour show that we're bringing you. We're following a key race in Nevada. We're going to go live right now to Fox News correspondent Anita Vogel, who is in Las Vegas. Anita, tell us about the very latest. I know we heard from Harry Reid, and he said things are going to change a little bit. What does he have in store?
Well, you know, this is Jamie, back to you.
All right, and we're going to go right now to Jerry Brown, who has been declared the... All right, well, as we go to break, I want to tell you what's coming up. We have 3 hours of coverage, and there are still races to be called. And also, speaking of calling, the president picked up the phone. Midnight tonight, he placed several calls, one of them to John Boehner, one to current House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and also to Senator McConnell. We're going to bring you the latest and the details on those phone calls. Plus, here's a bit of the concession speech that came earlier tonight by Delaware Senate candidate, Tea Party supported Christine O'Donnell. Stay right where you are. Acknowledging that this race looks to go to Jerry Brown, who will take his place back in the governor's mansion, the former governor and attorney general. Let me let you, John, finish your thought about the economy, because you might go. I know the Federal Reserve looking, the QE2, and also the stock markets a little bit optimistic. Does tonight send a message that there will be less spending and there can be more optimism? Lessons learned, obviously, for Democrats tonight, but what about for Republicans? Later, I want to mention we'll get to Michael Barone, too, after we take a quick break.
In just a minute.
Well, let's bring in now former Congressman Martin Frost. He is a Democrat, watching all the races closely. He's from Texas. Congressman, great to have you. And I'm very interested in your perspective on the races tonight, on the change in the balance of power, even though the Republicans did not take the majority in the Senate at this point. There is a bit of a message for Democrats. Will we hear President Obama, when he speaks tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, address it? Their message, because they've done so much in these first 2 years that President Obama's in office. They've made it very clear. They don't have a problem with spending. The stimulus, they were in favor of and considering a second one. The tax cuts, they want to expire. All of a sudden, if they do change their position, what does that mean for voters, especially independents, who didn't potentially turn out in the numbers that were expected, particularly the young voters that did in the general election, and also minority voters? Will they be confused?
Yeah, it will move an increase in minimum wage. He got reelected, and the Republicans got reelected.
All right, Congressman, thanks for moving it along. You know how it is when we have to pay the bills. We're going to go to a quick break. Thank you so much for being with us.
Coming up.
And you know what I have to say, Greg? Behind me, I just turned around to look. Our decision team is still hard at work. They never sleep until it is all done, and it's not done yet. But so far, we can tell you this. There's a whole new look in Congress. Republicans gaining control of the House as expected and closing the gap in the Senate. With more on how the balance of power is shaping up, Melanie Wilson. So much. I appreciate it. And if we have a second, Greg, I'm just curious to ask Richard, of all the races that we looked at, the Democrats, Melanie brings up distancing themselves from President Obama. Be honest, it's just us.
Just us.
Just exactly that.
Their ads, except to brag they voted against it.
2 races I was very surprised about in Mississippi. The 1st District, Travis Chilton.
At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he'll have to explain what happened.
And then the next day he leaves for...
But what will he say, Richard? How will he explain